Margie, and today I'm doing a book review of a book that was published in 1979, and it's called American History, American Film, Interpreting the Hollywood Image. And before I jump into a quick little review of this book, I want to say to you guys that I know a lot of you that are fans of my film reviews are probably thinking, what are you doing? I don't want you getting into all these books and stuff. Well, in my defense, this book is about films, okay? And so I read it and I really enjoyed it, and so I wanted to just kind of share a couple things from it with you guys, and hopefully this is all going to make us more intelligent human beings, right? Okay, so yeah, it was written by, or edited, written, yada yada, by John E. Connor and Martin A. Jackson, with a foreword by Arthur M. Schlesinger, Jr. Okay, obviously this is a nonfiction book, so there's not really any plot. Yes, I will be still using all the categories I use for my film reviews because I'm so used to it. So, yeah, this is kind of weird. But anyway, alright, so basically this book is about how, as I said, it says in the title, American history is connected with American film, and how the films reflect the sentiments of that era, and how some of the more beloved films reflect what's going on in the lives and hearts of the American people, and just that kind of thing. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this book, guys. Mentioned in this book, before I get into that, mentioned in this book are the following films: Way Down East from 1920, The Big Parade, 1925, The Scar of Shame, 1927, Public Enemy, 1931, Steamboat Round the Bend, 1935, Drums Along the Mohawk, 1939, Mission to Moscow, 1943, The Best Years of Our Lives, 1946, Red River, 1948, Viva Zapata, 1952, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, 1964, Bonnie and Clyde, 1967, and Rocky, 1976. Obviously, they couldn't keep going because this were all the movies that were out, because this book was published, as I mentioned, in 1979. So, just want to make quick little comments about this. Basically, I'm not really reviewing this book, more as just kind of, you know, for the film lovers and the film critics, and for the, you know, the movie geeks and all this stuff. Is it a good read? It's a good read. They had a lot of in-depth concepts about how, you know, politicians used to influence the films, and they, you know, like a lot of times producers and, you know, politicians and people like that would try and sway like American approval or disapproval or opinion or whatever using films, and how that they were trying to, while swaying public opinion or changing public opinion, etc., they were also trying to hit a nerve with the audience and find something that really connected to the audience. So they're trying to give a mixture of something that they think is insightful and good, that they want the American people to lean towards, especially with wars and stuff. Like, there's a lot of, like, oh, we like the war, and then we don't like the war, and that kind of thing. But then it also shares how the film producers didn't want to just make a movie that Americans totally couldn't connect with, because they wanted to hit a chord. And that really talked about that with Rocky, and how, you know, oh, you've seen the underdog story 1,000 times, but something about Rocky is so lovable, because don't we all want to be the, you know, don't we all in some way feel like nobody really understands us? And yeah, I mean, I'm telling you what they said, basically. And, you know, don't we all feel like we have been in less than ideal circumstances, and we have been the underdog in many fights, and that we can truly overcome our difficulties, and yada, yada, yada. So, you know, it's Rocky. What can you say? I mean, I didn't need them to analyze that for me. Thank you. But, yeah, guys, this book, good book. Really good book. Not one of my favorites, but for the film geeks and all this, give it a read. It's really good. It gives you, like, a lot of depth and inside perspective about how things used to work. Enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Loved the insider's look about everything. I know it's a dated book. but if you can pick it up for, you know, $5 or less, give it a read. It's worth your time, and I really enjoyed it. I'm actually doing a parent's guide for this book because, you know, books can be awful or great too. So there is nothing parent's guide except to say that obviously they're talking about film. There's no like language used except in quotes, and then you've got maybe 20 languages, and that varies from the worst to the least. So not that bad, and most of that's in the later half because, you know, 60s and 70s, yeah, in the later halves of the film reviews, but nothing that's going to concern you. No real sexual content, no real violence, no real, so, yeah, I don't think your 8-year-old's going to want to read this one. You got to be seriously hardcore if you're 8 years old and reading this book. I mean, you've got to love movies. And a lot of you are just like, that was ridiculous. Maybe it was, but even if it's not, you're not thinking of this for your kid, I don't want to buy a book and then sit there and be surprised at how many F's or yada yadas in it. So, anyway, I know this has been kind of short and scatterbrained and yada yada, but I'm basically just recommending this book to you, even though it's ancient. Again, don't go out and pay, you know, probably more than $6 or $7 for it, but it's a good book. I really enjoyed it. I thought they had a lot of good concepts, and yeah, anything that I can read or get my hands on about, you know, anything movies that will help educate me, I'm for. So, yeah, definitely get your hands on this one if you can. And I know this is a book review. I'm not planning to do a lot of book reviews, guys. So don't worry. But I thought that you hopefully won't be too mad at me because this has to do with film. So, yeah, I'm like, it's still movie related, guys. Come on. And, anyway, again, as I've said, this is just kind of for the movie geeks. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much for checking out my first book review of the book that was published in 1979, American History, American Film. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.